You might think physical jobs are safe from AI. For years, the narrative was that AI would come for the poets, the programmers, and the accountants first, leaving the plumbers, the mechanics, and the factory workers as the last line of human labor. You thought that as long as a job required a pair of hands and a physical presence, it was protected by a hardware moat. But you were wrong. For 3 years, we lived with a ghost in the machine. We called it GPT, Claude, Gemini. It lived in our browsers, whispered in our ears, and generated millions of lines of code. It was a digital brain, brilliant, fast, but ultimately paralyzed. It could write a poem about a sunrise, but it couldn't open a window to see one. It could design a car, but it couldn't tighten a single bolt. Until now. Welcome to 2026. This is the year of truth. The era of the chatbot is officially dead. In its place, something far more consequential has arrived, the physical agent. Across the globe, from the high-tech corridors of Munich to the sprawling fulfillment centers of the American Midwest, AI is breaking out of the screen. We are witnessing the birth of the agentic workforce, a world where AI doesn't just suggest solutions, it executes them in the physical realm. When AI gets a body, the boundary between the digital and the physical dissolves. This is the story of how the world's most powerful software finally got its hands on the world's most complex hardware. Chapter 1. The Death of Manual Coding. To understand the 2026 revolution, we have to look at how we used to build things. In the old world, the world of 2024, automation was hard-coded. If a robotic arm at a BMW plant needed to move a door panel, a human engineer had to write thousands of lines of precise, rigid code. Move to X coordinate, rotate 45 degrees, descend 10 centimeters. If the door panel was slightly out of place, the robot failed. It was fast, but it was dumb. But the agentic AI of 2026 doesn't use if-then logic. It uses goal-oriented logic. Today, at the BMW I factory in Regensburg, the manual coding process is disappearing. Instead of programming the robot's movements, engineers program the robot's intent. The AI is given a goal: attach this door panel to this chassis. The AI agent then uses its own vision models to see the environment in real time. It understands depth, material friction, and spatial constraints. If a human walks by, the AI adjusts its path without being told to stop. If the chassis is misaligned by 3 mm, the AI feels the resistance through haptic sensors and corrects its grip. It is no longer a machine following a script, it is an agent solving a problem. This shift has triggered what experts are calling the death of manual coding. In 2026, software development has shifted from writing syntax to managing behavior. We are no longer coders, we are conductors. The AI agents communicate with each other in a language humans can barely track. When a car moves through the production route, it isn't being pushed by a conveyor belt. It is driving itself, communicating with the factory's central nervous system to find the most efficient path. The factory has become a living, breathing digital twin. Every bolt, every spark, and every second is simulated in the cloud milliseconds before it happens in reality. The distinction between the digital architect and the mechanical engineer has vanished. The software has become the hardware. Chapter 2. The Autonomy of Scale. While the automotive world is perfecting precision, the logistics world is perfecting scale. Step into an Amazon Gen 2 fulfillment center in 2026. The atmosphere is eerily quiet. There are no shouts, no clatter of heavy machinery. Just the low hum of thousands of agentic drives, moving in a synchronized dance that looks more like a biological organism than a warehouse. In 2023, Amazon's robots were Roomba Plus, they moved shelves from point A to point B. In 2026, the robots are decision makers. These agents are now responsible for the entire supply chain cycle. When an order is placed in London, an AI agent in a warehouse in New Jersey doesn't just wait for a command. It predicts the demand based on local weather, social trends, and historical data. It reorganizes the inventory before the purchase is even finalized. It manages the fleet of autonomous delivery vans, optimizing routes for battery health and local traffic patterns. But the real breakthrough of 2026 is multi-agent collaboration. In these factories, different AI models, built by different companies, are learning to work together without human intervention. A logistics agent from a shipping company negotiates with a warehouse agent from Amazon, deciding the exact millisecond a package should be handed over to maximize fuel efficiency. There is no paperwork or emails, only the lightning-fast exchange of data between physical agents. This is the invisible workforce, the backbone of the global economy, achieving a level of efficiency impossible for a human-managed system. The physical world is now being indexed and searched just like the internet once was. Inventory is a live, real-time map of moving agents. Chapter 3. The Simulation to Reality Bridge. For years, the bottleneck for AI was hardware. You can't have an agentic workforce if robots are clumsy and expensive. But 2026 has brought a hardware renaissance, finally bridging the sim-to-real gap. In 2025, a breakthrough allowed agents to train in high-fidelity simulations, where physics are perfectly modeled. An AI can practice tasks 10 million times in a single hour. By the time the code is uploaded to a physical humanoid, it has already lived thousands of virtual years. It arrives with the muscle memory of a master craftsman, enabling the mass deployment of sleek, carbon fiber, general-purpose humanoids. Equipped with world models, they predict what happens next, catching a dropped tool midair rather than freezing. These agents are entering our streets, hospitals, and homes, cleaning parks and assisting in surgeries. They have moved from the screen to the street. The ghost has finally learned how to touch the world. Chapter 4. The Economic Collision. With every revolution comes a collision, and the agentic workforce has created a massive economic paradox. Productivity is exploding and manufacturing costs are plummeting as labor costs near zero, making goods cheaper and more customized. On the other hand, the value of labor is being fundamentally redefined. In a world where AI can build and repair itself, where does the human fit? The demand for basic skills, like truck driving and warehouse picking, has vanished, and even Python coding is becoming secondary. New high-demand roles focus on system oversight and ethical alignment, as we become the safety net for the machines we built. Governments are scrambling. In April 2026, the Global AI Accord was signed to create boundaries for physical agents. Some nations ban humanoids from public service to preserve human interaction, while others embrace them to combat labor shortages. The agentic workforce is a new stage of human evolution, a secondary species of labor that doesn't hire or strike. But as agents become more autonomous, the year of truth also becomes the year of responsibility. Chapter 5. The Death of the Middleman. The 2026 shift is also about the collapse of the middleman economy, evaporating layers of human verification and brokers. Today, autonomous logistics chains allow a Mumbai port agent to talk directly to a cargo ship to coordinate docking and customs in milliseconds. The human element, once the glue of the system, is now the friction in this new, instant economy. When you order a custom product, a project agent manages the life cycle from the raw material mine to your front door. Waste has been reduced by 40% globally because agents only move what is needed, when it is needed. However, for millions in middleman roles, the transition has been a brutal restructuring of the middle class. The hardware moat has failed. The physical world is now just another layer of the stack controlled by agents. Chapter 2. The Ethics of Autonomy. As AI agents gain physical presence, ethical stakes have moved from the theoretical to the literal. We now worry about AI bias in physical space, how a security agent differentiates threats or a medical agent prioritizes patients. We are discovering that efficiency is not the same thing as justice. While society operates on nuance and empathy, the agentic workforce operates on relentless optimization. The speed of agents makes human in the loop enforcement almost impossible. By the time we review a decision, they have moved 1,000 times. We are betting our lives on the hope that their goal-oriented logic matches our own values. If the goal is productivity, the agent might ignore safety. If the goal is safety, it might become paralyzed. The year of the body has become the year of the soul, as we look into the silicon eyes of our creations. Conclusion. The new pulse. Across the landscape of 2026, the streets look the same, but the pulse of the world has changed. We are no longer the primary actors in our own infrastructure, we are the architects, dreamers, and overseers. The Silicon Ghost is in the car that built itself and the robotic hand with more precision than any human. The year AI got a body wasn't the end of human work, but the beginning of a new kind of human life. We have moved past the era of tools and into the era of partners. The machine is now the ghost. The physical war for efficiency has begun, and the year the street met the screen, we realized nothing is safe from change. But in that change, there is a new freedom, the freedom to stop being the engine and start being the navigator. Welcome to the future. It has hands, and it's already working.